Hello guys, welcome to Literature Journey to JRF. Guys, as you know, this is the PYQ series of questions of 2022 which is going on. And in this journey, this is the question number 3 which we are going to discuss. And it is very important questions because it is covering more than 5 works and about the author also. So it is great information which you are getting from this one video. So guys, let's move to the question. Choose the right chronological sequence of publication of the following novels by Margaret Atwood. And the options are A. Lady Oracle, B. Blind Assassin, C. The Handmaid's Tale, D. The Testaments, and E. Elias Grace. Guys, here we are getting 5 option, not 4 option. So what is the right sequence? So the right sequence is Lady Oracle in 1976, then The Handmaid's Tale in 1985, Elias Grace 1996, after that The Blind Assassin in 2000, and lastly, The Testaments in 2019, which is a sequel to Handmaid's Tale. So, Margaret Atwood, whose real name, yeah, we can say complete name is Margaret Eleanor Atwood. She was born 18 November 1939. She is a Canadian poet, essayist, literary critic, and activist. Since 1961, she has published 18 books of poetry, 18 novels, 11 books of non-fiction, and 8 children's books, and 2 graphic novels also. Oh my god, lot of work. She also wrote number of small press editions of poetry and fiction. Won numerous awards, 2 Booker Prizes, one for The Blind Assassin in 2000 and the another one for Testament, which was a joint winner of Booker Prize alongside another novel. Governor General's Award, the Franz Kafka Prize, Penn Center USA Lifetime Achievement Award. Oh my god, she wrote lot of works and she got lot of awards also. And theme of her works especially was encompassed in her work gender and identity, religion and myth, the power of language, climate change, and power politics. Atwood is founder of Griffin Poetry Prize. She is inventor of long pen device and associated technologies that facilitate remote robotics writing of documents. She started writing plays and poems at the age of 6, realized she wanted to write professionally when she was 16. And in 1957, she began studying at Victoria College in University of Toronto, where she published poems and articles in Acta Victoriana. J. Macpherson and Northrop Frye were her professors. She graduated in 1961 with Bachelor of Arts in English honors and minors in philosophy and French. Now guys, let us discuss the work because now we know the sequence. We should have a little bit information about these works because these are most important works of Margaret Atwood. Lady Oracle in 1976 by McClelland and Stewart. It was published. The novel parodies gothic romances and fairy tales. Protagonist of the novel, John Foster, is a romance novelist who has spent his life running away from difficult situations. The novel alternates between flashback from the past and scenes from the present. In past, reader sees her as an overweight child criticized by her mother and later as a mistress of Polish count and also her affair with artist called Royal Porcupine from her bipolar husband Arthur. In present, she has published a volume of feminist poetry which become breakthrough success. She is blackmailed about her secret by some unknown person and she fakes her own death and flees to Italy. What an idea she got. Now, have a look on The Handmaid's Tale, 1985. It is a futuristic dystopian novel set in near future New England in a patriarchal totalitarian theonomic state known as the Republic of Gilead, overthrown by the US government. Central character or the narrator is a woman who are forcibly assigned to produce children for the commander, which is ruling class in Gilead. Theme of the novel: subjugated women in patriarchal society, loss of individuality, suppression of women's reproductive rights, and various means by which women reset and try to gain individuality and independence. It was nominated for Booker Prize in 1986. Title echoes the component part of Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tale. I'll tell you a little bit story about Handmaid's Tale. After killing the president of US and most of the Congress, a radical, in the era of environmental pollution and radiation, she is one of the few fertile women forcibly assigned to produce children for commander and is known as handmaid. In those days, fertility was not common. Only a few women were fertile due to environment pollution and radiations. So those women were hired for children and called handmaids, and it was based on the biblical story of Rachel and her handmaid Bilhah. Now we'll talk about the Elias Grace, published in 1996 by Mackland and Stewart. It is a historical fiction shortlisted for Booker Prize and won the Canadian Giller Prize. The story fictionalizes the notorious murder of Thomas Kinnear in 1843 and his housekeeper Nancy Montgomery in Canada West. Two servants of the household, Grace Marks and James McDermott, were convicted of the crime. McDermott was hanged and Marks was sentenced to life imprisonment. Based on the factual event, Edward constructs a narrative with fictional doctor Simon Jordan, who researches the case. Grace Marks, the convicted murderer, is now hired from prison to serve as a domestic servant of a minister and seems to suffer from hysteria. Dr. Simon Jordan, who is also a psychiatrist, interviews her and she narrates her past story from childhood, her youth, how she suffers from childhood to youth, and continuously she was suffered. So this was the story of Elias Grace. Now let's move to The Blind Assassin. It was published in 2000 by again Mackland and Stewart. It is also a historical fiction set in fictional Ontario town of Toronto, narrated from present day but referring to the previous events of 1930 to 1940. Protagonist Iris Chase and her sister Laura grew up well off but motherless. As an old woman, Iris recalls relationship of her childhood, youth and middle ages including her unhappy marriage to Griffin. There is a novel within a novel, Romana Clef, where Iris is the protagonist, not Laura. Iris is come to know Richard is raping Laura from marriage and she is pregnant now and Richard was forcing her for abortion. Novel is inspired by Laura's romance with Alex. She commits suicide upon learning of Alex's death in war. Iris later published the work in Laura's name and takes her young daughter and flees her home, threatening to reveal Richard about impregnated Laura and forced abortion. The novel ends as the Iris dies, leaving the truth to be discovered in her unpublished autobiography. Sad end. Now let us talk about The Testament. Published in 2019, it was sequel to Handmaid's Tale. The novel is set 15 years after the events of Handmaid's Tale. Narrated by Aunt Lydia, a young character from Handmaid's Tale, Agnes, a young woman living in Gilead, and Daisy, a young woman living in Canada. Testament was winner of Booker Prize 2019 alongside Bernardine Evaristo's novel Girl, Women and Other. It is important to know that Testament won Booker Prize. With which novel? So, Girl, Women, Other by Bernardine Evaristo. So guys, it was all about Margaret Atwood and her work. I know that this video is little bit long, but it worth because exams are approaching, so we are covering more topics or more content so that you could get important things at one place. So guys, I'm doing a lot of hard work so that we can grow together, we can progress together. So if you like my work, my efforts, then please like, do share and subscribe and hit the bell icon. Thank you guys.